Well, hey everybody, how you all doing? Widler Dave here. I hope everybody is as safe as you can be, and you're warm. And but I pray for everybody that's out of power and everything. I've been there, walked that path. Just got on here. This ain't really nothing crazy today. This is the spoon rest that I carved for myself and everything. Finished it up. It was done with the chisels, the knife, hatchet, and adze. Made out of very old hickory. This stuff is old. A gentleman gave me this. This is some of the wood that my wife made for her son. She used this for his cutting board, and some very old cherry too. But yeah, this is just hickory. Just putting on a food grade oil, because I'm using this for a spoon rest. Just all hacked out with a hatchet, adze, chisels, and a knife. And it's very, very, very old wood, but it's very pretty. Look at that. Hope you can see that. I just put that oil on there. It'll absorb, and I'll throw it in a bag and let it soak in oil and everything. And you have to push the oil into the grain. It's beautiful, very beautiful, and everything. I just been kind of messing around. Shoot, got this, got that. Let's put this over here. Been playing with the little bird. We was doing that the other day. I haven't cut that side or nothing like that. Still playing with the kitty. I thought, let's do a little bit more on Tommy the Turtle. Can you see this? I hope so. Let's get you right here, maybe. Tommy, I got a shadow there. Sorry, folks. How's that? Yeah, I'll hold you up here. But no, I'm just, I bought these flex cuts last year. I'm working on the background on Tommy, dropping that down and all that, and then right here where the border is, I'm taking that out. Where's my knife? Let's go ahead and start on this. Try to get some of this background done. This is some of the spring stuff I'm just working on. Trying to get. I've got several spring shows I'm going to be trying to do this year. Stuff like that. Since this area around here don't really represent artists hardly anymore, I've got to do more shows. That's unfortunately. I don't understand why people are so negative against art. It brings a lot of love. It brings families together. It shows our youth how things are done. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Once this crazy's weather over, I got to go meet a lady at the Pigeon Forge Library. They're doing a thing there. They're looking for primitive artists and things that people can talk about the way things were made back then. So I'm bringing the axe block, and I'm bringing my hatchets, my adze, and I'm going to be doing some primitive carving. I'll be cutting some spoons and everything, and I'll be doing some greenwood carving. That's one of the best ways to cut a spoon. I've got to trim my dogwood out here, and there's a nice big fat limb up there. So I'm going to cut that down, and I'll do some, you get it to a point. You don't totally finish it, and then you find a cardboard box, and you fill it full of sawdust and pieces of wood and stuff, and I got a lot of that. And you throw that in there, and the sawdust and stuff, and the wood stuff, and that cardboard will actually dry the wood. It's an old way. I did my cherry spoon, the last piece of wood my father-in-law cut before he passed away. I just carved me a cherry spoon. And it's been setting in, I carved it last year, and it's been setting in the sawdust and stuff, and it's dry now, and I actually used it the other day. You know, you know, if you're going to make something like that, use it. Don't be afraid. So I do use all my wooden spoons and stuff that I make, I cook with. Yeah, see, we're just cutting a border. That's all we're doing. I got another one that I draw. Well, I did it years and years ago, and I decided to do it again. It was quite popular, of a shallow relief carving, you know. So, got that coming up. I told Brian, he's busy right now, and it's cold, and I don't want to drag him out. Lord, no. He's going to gripe at me. That's all right. He'll say, oh, you should have called me. Yeah, but we're just playing right now. That's all we're doing. Hang on, folks. I'm using my table saw here to push up. I got my fence here and everything, and I'm pushing against the fence table, you know, on the table saw to knock this background down. And I like that chatter marks it, you know. I like that chatter. The marks and the wahooties and stuff. Yeah. Creates a nice stop cut. I gotta start cutting some more stuff out for I'm gonna send a box of love to a lady in Florida. So I've got to get some more. How many I got over there? I got about 8 mice I'm sending her. And I'm gonna send her one that's done, and she's going through a few things. I'm not gonna get into it, but you know, to keep this love going, I challenge everybody out there. You find somebody that needs help or what have you, you know, take the time. Take the time. You know, just take a few minutes and sit down with them if you can, or cut them out something and get them started. Let's don't let this die. You know, let's don't. I mean, it's unfortunately I live in the most prettiest place in the United States, one of the prettiest. And they have just pretty well have said no to art around here. It's just not like it was years ago. And to me, it's all the negative stuff. And we need to bring back the arts and the love and stuff like that about, you know, I got my talent from a higher power. I tell you that right now. You know, it came from a higher power. And you can, you know, think of that way, you know. It's just, I'm not very good with words. You all know that. I'm good with my hands. I build stuff all the time. I'm constantly designing everything. Let me show you the shark. Can you see it? Shark. Yeah, shark is coming along. There's one of the fins. Yeah, the shark. You know, just carving away. Just my version of a shark. Is it perfect? No, because I don't want it perfect. You know, I'm an original hand carver. You know, it is how it is, folks. Yes, it is. Look in the background now. And like I said, I just wish we could just get back to the days of all artists was appreciated, you know, and handmade stuff was appreciated. Get off, folks, if you want something, find somebody in your hometown. I'm sorry I'm going to harp about this again, but find somebody in your hometown. You don't have to be me, you know. Just find somebody, and, you know, you may pay $1 or $2 more, but you know what? Anything that's handmade is made with love. It's made with love, and they put their time and effort into it. They put part of their soul. That's what I tell people. And when you buy something from me, you're buying a piece of Whittler Day. You're just not getting a handmade cat or a duck or a gnome. You know, you're getting me. You're getting my love, my soul, my heart, what I've done all my life. That's what you're buying. You're buying a piece of art or whatever that you can hand down throughout the years. It can be an heirloom piece. It can be a piece that you can hand down to your grandkids. Because stuff that's handmade is going to last a lifetime as long as you take care of it. You know, it's going to last. So, like I said, just not me, just because I'm talking right now. No, there's people throughout this United States that are phenomenal artists that like to build, who like to make, and even your beginners. Buy your beginners. They're trying. Give them the confidence. You know, give them the love. Like I said, you know, I tell people, go to my email at davepotion@gmail.com. I want to see your work. Ask me questions. What I think about it. You know, how could I improve what you did? And if I can help you, hell, I will. You know, that's how we learn. That's how we learn. Tommy the turtle. Just gotta pull that background down. And I've already taken the right through here. I've already started a stop cut right here already, because this is the border. That's straight enough. You know, let's pull this brick out of the way. Because see, I have my fence here. Now I can lay that knife right in there, and I can just cut that little dude right out. Yeah, and there you go. One big piece of wood to straight out. Now I've got this started, the border. And then, you know, one thing I forgot to start, and I need to mention it more. Think about safety. Wear your glove. Watch me, but don't be me. I have been doing this. Gotta have some coffee. I have been doing this for years and years and years and years. And I have made plenty of mistakes and whacked my fingers. But I'm an old carver. You know, I'll never look down on people that have to use a glove or wrap your fingers, or shoot, if you have to use a stencil, go for it. Or if you have to use a Dremel, go for it. Just get out there and make stuff. I'm not going to look down on you. I just got to tell people I am an original hand carver. But I just want you out there making things. Stop buying stuff and make it. Just make it. That's the whole trick. Look at that. Nice. Nice. That gives me my border edge right there. So when I come up through here, I can, this acts as a stop cut. So I want to get this background down. You know, there's not very much depth in Tommy or nothing like that. So you got to put shadows where you can put shadows and stuff. And you just got to look at it and put the love in everywhere and just understand the carving. I will carve all these petals, but I'll turn them different ways and stuff. And I just got to get around them, get some depth. Because like I said, we're not even very, very thick, you know. Not thick at all. I can't remember. Hang on. I think it's just like a quarter to half, it looks like. But let's just make sure. Let's get the old ruly stick out here. Yeah, she's 3/4. Just that's all that is 3/4 thick. No, not 3/4. I'm sorry. It's a 4 thick. Ooh, I need to get my glasses fixed. You know, that's just a quarter. 3/4. Come on. I wish it was 3/4. It's heck getting old, folks. Your eyeballs don't work like they used to. 3/4. Take myself out to the woodshed. Hey, if you can't laugh about yourself, why live? That's what my grandmother used to tell me. I can laugh at myself. I make mistakes. I'm an old man that enjoys this. Yes, I am. Yeah, the library show I'm gonna be doing. It's gonna be based on some of the original, how our settlers would survive back then. You know, if you needed a spoon, you made it. If you needed a bowl, you made it. You needed a piece of furniture, you made it. I mean, you just, everything's out here in this woods. They didn't have a Lowe's or, a Menards or a Home Depot. They didn't have internet. They didn't worry about it. They didn't have blueprints. They didn't have nothing. They just, some of them had skill and some of them had mainly a need, survival. So they just went out in the woods and maybe they were building a chair and they had a draw knife and maybe they had a spoke shaver and, and they built them a spoon bench. I'm getting ready to build one of those. I have a regular carving bench, but they built a spoon bench, and that way it'll clamp the wood, so when they use the draw knife and pulled it, they can make their legs or whatever, or they can put a tenon on. And they had a hand drill, with a brad point bit, and they just, I do all that. I've done it for years, and I'd love to be in an area just to, I did it for 8 years on the streets of Gatlinburg, showed people how people survived back then, how they made and how they designed, and, I need to live in a place that, I love my mountains, just have a place here that is just strictly 100% originality. You dress, you did everything, you made it all, you made, make your homemade soap, done that. Make homemade laundry detergent, done that. I have made a lot of stuff, and bring back some originality. Wouldn't that be nice? I think it would be awesome. See men and women stand around all day long, making and building, teaching our children that this is the way it was done. Just teaching them. This is the way it still should be done. Leaving America, 100%. Anywho, I could go on and on. Me and Tommy's just gonna mess around. I worked on the cat, worked on the bird, the spoon rest. I didn't sand it very good because I don't want it sanded good. I like the marks in it because it is handmade for the spoon rest. It is very, it's just, I don't want something that looks like it was just bought off Amazon. Nope. And I'm going to use that here in just a little bit. I'll start setting it on the stove and use that. I don't have a pattern. I just drawed that shape and, well, that's what I had wanted. Tommy the turtle. Back on Tommy. Well, like I said, around this area we didn't get very much. I think we got like an inch and a half of snow finally when I got up and took the dog out, but it was, was it cold. It was not warm at all. Cold wasn't even a word of it. Cold was cold. It was. Let's see what we got here. We'll go for a few more minutes. This ain't nothing. I know I don't want to bore people. Or nothing like that. But like I said, I'll get back on the little bird You know, all I'm doing is just taking the heart now. And we're just, like I said, this is just pure whittling. I challenge people, just go out and grab you and you don't have to have a 1x1. You can go out and get you a stick that's about an inch round or so and do this right. This was original art back then. They didn't have all this. They didn't have a piece of wood that's already cut square all the way around. You know, it didn't. They just had. They had a want. They had this idea in their head. You know. Yeah. Yeah. This is gonna. Don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I said, I think I'll just put like a little clasp on it, and he'll just hang. You know. I don't know. Yeah. Like I said, just a fun little whittle. Whittle, 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 whittle. Get this on Tommy. Oh, mercy. Well, I hope the weather straightens up. I didn't go to Burger King this week because I didn't want to get caught away from the house, and it wasn't that bad. I could have went, but you know, instincts were telling me, hey, just stay at home. So I listened. But, I was kind of off because I'm so used to doing that every Sunday. Getting up and going to Burger King. I like that. I'm an old coffee drinker. I used to sit around with the guys and we would, talk and settle all the world's problems in just a couple hours. Yeah, right. But we had good times. I miss that. A bunch of people just, and that I sat around and while we all talked, I was wood carving. I mean, basically, pretty well anywhere I go, I'm doing something with my hands. I'm whittling, drawing, or doing both at the same time. Just draw a little bit, whittle a little bit. It's my creative brain that don't shut up. Tommy the turtle. Oh, sorry. You see Tommy? See? Tommy. There's the... Yeah. Tommy's just Tommy. Yeah. Get that background knocked down little by little. Raising all this. And all these petals will get carved. You just got to get down to a certain depth. And you always will see me doing this. That tells me, I can tell by the sound of how thick it is. Yep. And that right there is pretty well about as low as I want to go there. And oh yeah, I have cut through. Yeah, I was not happy with myself. Oh, I've been there. I've walked that crazy path. But, sorry for hitting the camera. But I fixed it. I did. One thing about a woodworker, if you're going to do this, you're going to find out super glue is one of your best friends. And a few trickeries that you've learned over the years. How to hide mistakes. Because like I said, there ain't no one perfect. Ain't no one perfect. Well, I'm not going to stay on here. I just wanted to jump on here mainly, tell everybody I was worried about everybody, and I hope everybody is, warm or as warm as you can be. And let's get through this crazy winter where we can get back outside and we can do videos outside again and listen to the beautiful birds and all that. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear my birds. I miss it so much. I like listening to birds talk and everything. And just get back outside and grow our gardens and just, fellowship with everybody and people come to the shop and let's meet and have fun and sit around and whittle and stuff. There's no right, no wrong. But anywho, Wither Dave's going to jump off here. Just me and Tommy. We are just hanging out today. You know, we're just hanging out. Let's get this thing up where we can see it a little bit better. Like I said, we're just hanging out. Tommy the Turtle. Y'all have a blessed one. Remember, DavePost@gmail.com. And make sure you push that notification. That'll let you know when I put out a video. And please send me comments. It does help my channel out. You've got my email, so if you want to ask me anything, please do. Y'all have a blessed one, and Wither Dave will just talk to you later, and I thank you.